And welcome to the channel, everybody. This is a brand new show. I've got my buddy Chris. We're going to talk about some wrestling because this is AEW Aftershock.
Not affiliated with the official AEW, but hey, if you'd like to hire us, Mr. Khan, we are available and we are 100% willing to work with you.
There you go. So what's up, everybody? I am Brant Fowler.
And I am Chris DeBoudwell, but we go he okay, I'm sorry, I'm on this side.
Yes, you're on this side.
He goes by Brant the Gonzo Goose Fowler. I go by Chris the Falcon DeBoudwell. That's what happens if we ever end up wrestling. Those are our names that we go by. The Goose and Falcon connection.
Because Gonzo Goose is a terrifying wrestling name. I would have to have some really goofy gimmick.
It'd be crazy.
I'd be the modern day gobbledygooker. That's
there you go. I'm just a brawler, so I would probably end up being like Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash, you're a little short, but no.
I don't care how short I am. I can still kick ass. And actually,
Kevin Sullivan.
I will say that there is somebody we're going to talk about today that actually has me considering certain things, but I'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
So this is the show where we're going to be talking about AEW every single week. You might remember a show Brant and I did a little whiles back talking about another company. We're not going to be talking about that company. We're talking strictly AEW Dynamite.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be talking AEW pay-per-views.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the matches. We're going to be talking about how we feel about where AEW is going, our predictions for the future, and hopefully more shows as AEW continues to move forward and grow because wow, last night's show we're recording this on Thursday, just in case I don't know when this is going up.
Yes.
Last night's show was spectacular. And that's where I want to say, watching AEW Dynamite episode 1 last night really brought back a lot of the old feelings I had with wrestling. It felt like watching wrestling again. It felt like the old way when I was watching other companies outside of the big company that's out there right now, and I loved it. I didn't take my eyes off the screen for a second. Yeah,
it's the whole promise of AEW when they first started this whole adventure was doing something different and kind of creating their own brand, and that's exactly what they did. They took elements of different things we've loved in the past as fans, and kind of jumbled it all together and created this juggernaut that has become AEW. And what I was telling Chris when I was watching it is it had that big feel. It's like we can mention other companies. It's not like we're exclusive. We have under exclusive contract and have NDAs and stuff.
We could be exclusive.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, we've seen other companies like TNA or like different companies like that, and it's like there's a distinct difference between the feel and the vibe that AEW had and some of these other smaller indie companies, which are great in their own right, and have great.
Ring of Honor and
Ring of Honor is fantastic.
I forgot the one in Japan, but those are all New Japan. Thank you. Yeah, those are all amazing shows as well.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of these guys came from those areas, so it's really cool. It's just because of the cons involved, they were able to elevate this product and do something really special with it. And it didn't feel like, the weird thing is, it's on TNT. It's got similar logo treatments and everything to WCW Nitro that it kind of takes you back with
even the intro music.
Yeah, the intro music, the pyro, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it didn't feel like, they're trying to recapture WCW. It really still felt like its own thing, which is what I really appreciated. And it's kind of what's pulled me into AEW was this whole story behind it. It's like some of these guys I wasn't familiar with because I didn't get to watch as much indie wrestling as I would like to.
Yeah.
But I, through when the buzz started for AEW and you started hearing rumors and all this stuff, I started going back on YouTube and watching a bunch of stuff. And I got familiar with a lot of these guys and their story and their journey. These are a lot of guys that got overlooked by the bigger companies. They got, the ones that were actually there were undervalued and weren't utilized properly. And so all these guys have something to prove, and they want to do something special, and they believe in themselves, and they believe that they can do something bigger than what they've been allowed to do in other places. And I think they proved that with this first episode.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like after watching this first episode, the big company that everybody strived for really dropped the ball because they did not get this amazing talent that was on the show. I'm actually not surprised, but surprised. I'm sure a lot of people, you know what's true. The big company's WWE.
Of course.
I'm surprised that half of these wrestlers didn't make it WWE, but I'm not surprised because knowing the way Vince treats the wrestlers, the stories, and even their own brand, their own name. We won't talk about the Viking connection. Yeah, I don't blame certain wrestlers for not wanting to be a part of WWE right now for multiple reasons.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, obviously Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho both came from WWE. Yep. They were very well known there.
And Sammy Guevara was actually part of a event. I don't remember. I think it was Bound for Glory he went to. Sammy Guevara has his own YouTube channel, which I'm subscribed to. And I remember he went to a WWE event to be at it. He was one of the extras. But I don't remember what he did there.
Okay. And I'm sure a lot of these guys have been there in some capacity at some point in time. Even if it is something like that, like they're one of the druids for the Undertaker or something like that. Mm-hmm. Some gimmicky thing. And but going back to like Cody, who was there for 10 years and there was multiple times that he was like right there, he was right there on the cusp and you were like, okay, this is where he gets his push and then nothing. And then he disappears. And it's like, what the heck are they doing? And and that's the way he felt. And Chris Jericho, he did everything. He wanted a new challenge. And so, and then there's Jon Moxley, who, we'll talk about because he does show up.
Yeah, but he had issues with WWE for a while.
Yeah, and it was the same kind of thing, though. It was like, you don't know who I am. You don't have anything for me creatively. I'm going to go somewhere where I can do something different, do something that I want, and project the character that I want. And I think that's exactly what these guys have done. And this opening show, it wasn't a perfect show. I'll just put that out there at the beginning.
We're not a kind of person that's going to blow smoke up any companies. You know what? We're not going to be giving every match like a 5-star rating just because we loved AEW.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't perfect, but for a first TV episode when a bunch of these guys aren't used to the weekly live TV schedule and format and all that stuff, I thought they did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah,
overall. So let's kind of break it down about some of the highlights.
I would like to point out one thing that I really liked because it wasn't in the show. They didn't have any backstage fluff.
Yes.
I appreciated that. Now, am I saying I don't want any backstage, like, on the mic? No, I'm okay with that. But the fact that for the first show, they didn't have any at all. Yeah. And I'm sure there will be because I know there's going to be talking next week.
Sure.
That's fine. I mean, talking every once in a while is great. But the fact that they're not focusing on that and it's more about the wrestling and then all the other fluff they do on their YouTube channel, humongous plus right there. Number one, it allows for people to say, okay, if I don't want to hear people talking about other people, I don't have to watch it. Number two, it also helps build their YouTube channel, helps build their it gives them more space because on YouTube there's no time frame. You can go to as many people as you want. And I loved it. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. And I think it was a smart move to go out there and just, hey, this is who we are and what we do. And this is why we're going to excite you. And just go wall to wall, give us pay-per-view level matches for the most part. And I think it was a great thing. They did have a couple of talking segments up on the stage and maybe like one in the ring, but that was it. It was like none of that backstage stuff. And like you, I want storylines. Storylines make you care about the feuds and all that stuff, but you don't want the storylines to overtake the in-ring action because then it just becomes a soap opera. And, it's about that in-ring performance. And these guys work hard to show that off. So, coming out with this first episode. And you didn't – I don't think you got to watch it, but the night before, they actually did a 1-hour countdown show.
No, I didn't get to watch that. No, I missed that.
It was Tony Schiavone standing there and kind of recapping the past 9 months of how they came to be here. and just kind of showing all that footage that we've probably seen on YouTube and stuff, but kind of compiled together and produced in a nice package to where they kind of led you down this road to show you why certain feuds were happening and this and that and what happened at the pay-per-views and things like that. And it got me excited all over again. It was like, oh man, I know I just watched all this stuff, but it's like,
and keyword is Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone, voice of WCW, back and commentating.
And he said it 3 times after 20 years back on TNT.
Yeah, back with Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone together, and Excalibur being the
Excalibur. I love him. Yeah, he's a great announcer also.
Yeah, and I noticed like some social media chatter about them correcting some of the announcing mistakes that they had made in previous shows and things like that. And I think they got a handle on it. It's like they have a team now that bounces off each other pretty well. And there's that familiarity with Schiavone and Jim Ross, and then there's the new voice in Excalibur who has a lot of knowledge. And so you got Jim Ross in the center kind of leading the other two into topics, and then they can expand on it, which is probably the best way to utilize Jim Ross at this stage.
Oh, definitely. This announce team is an announce team I wouldn't break apart. I think they have a perfect thing going on there.
Yeah, I think it was really good. So Cody opens the show. And
Guevara.
Yeah, instead of facing somebody known or somebody big, he faces Sammy Guevara, who a lot of people don't know. Yes, he's on YouTube. A lot of indie fans know who he is. A lot of people who have been watching AEW have seen his matches, but like the general person, like me, if I hadn't watched any of this AEW stuff, I wouldn't know who he was, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's very interesting that
you're not part of the Panda fam?
I am not.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just
fam.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I want to know more about Sammy. He's actually popped up on some of the YouTube stuff I watched, and I want to know more about all these guys. But I just, my point is, I think it's really interesting that Cody, in his first match on TV, is facing somebody that a lot of people don't know. And that's really cool. I think that was really cool. And not only that, he took Cody to the limit.
Oh, yeah. He's good, Sammy Guevara. He's got a lot of he's very technical. He's a very technical wrestler. He just bounces all over the place, flips and flies all over the place. If you watch any of his other matches, which I actually watched a few last night through his YouTube channel, whoa. He's definitely got rubber in his body, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's something else, man. And he's from this area. He's from Houston, so he's from close to me right now. So that was a fantastic match. Cody, just him coming out, him opening the show and coming out, raising up from the floor, and the fans just went crazy because it's just like, okay, this was vindication for everything that he's been building up to since he left. It's like, can I make this happen? Can I do something? And now this was like, this is it. And they just let him soak it in. He took his time getting to the ring, soaked it all up. And, I'm proud for him. I'm happy for him.
Definitely. Yeah. I thought the match was flawless.
Yeah.
A lot of the matches had a 20-minute time limit.
Yes.
His match was one of them. I believe it was, if he lost the match, he'd lose the title match against Chris Jericho at Full Gear.
Yeah.
So he actually won, so he keeps his match.
Yeah, and he got attacked by Chris Jericho.
Right, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I'm not so crazy about the time limit thing because I don't know. I know it's an old school thing. It's something they used to do back in the 80s and 90s, but I don't care for it as much, honestly.
Right, because of but again, you only have a 2-hour program. A lot
True.
So I guess it's kind of to keep everything.
Yeah. I just wish they wouldn't call out like in past shows. It's like 10 minutes have passed, 10 minutes remaining. We don't need that.
I noticed that with Cody's. Only Cody's I noticed that with.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they didn't do that.
Yeah. So they don't need to do that. I don't mind them having a time limit, but don't do that. But I like the fact that they are focusing on the wins and losses. So like if Cody lost, he's out of the title picture. And then Sammy has to be considered because he beat the guy that was number one contender. I think that's a cool way to do it.
I think Sammy has championship material for sure. I think he has a a good background and the way he wrestles, I definitely say he has a shot one day.
Yeah,
he should have a shot at the championship one day. He has real talent. Everybody has real talent, but I feel like he definitely should be in the running one day.
Yeah, I mean, they trust him enough to open the show too.
Mhm.
So I hopefully they will come out with like a secondary title, because right now they just have the world title, the tag titles. Well, they've got a tournament going on starting next week for the tag titles, and then they crowned the women's champion,
which we will talk about also, and that was another spectacular match. But I hope they do too. I'm sure they will. I feel like they're just getting their feet wet right now, and then they're going to start adding more stuff. But what was I going to say? But definitely, I'm sure they'll add more titles. I'm hoping that if this show is a success, TNT does what they did with WCW and expand another hour come season 2.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Either that or just give them a secondary show.
Secondary show's good too, absolutely.
Yeah, because I know that I watched this long interview with Tony Khan, and he felt like 2 hours was the perfect amount of time for a wrestling program. And a lot of people complain about Raw being too long. So
that's true. So another show then, that would be good.
Yeah, another show, even if it's just like an hour show on the weekend, anything to kind of expand the amount of talent that they can showcase on a week would be really cool. Because they have a lot of people, and they have to juggle them. Like, we didn't see a lot of the people on the card tonight because you can only show so many. So
it was only a handful of matches. Honestly, it was a lot of just the matches themselves were matches. They were matches.
So we mentioned the women's title. We'll talk about that real quick. It's Rio versus Nyla Rose.
Oh, that was so good. I'm sorry, David and Goliath.
Yes,
and not to mention also Riho was trained by Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
So she really pulled out all the, again, it's like the big bad wrestler versus the little tiny wrestler who like literally only makes it about up to here on the person. But man, Riho was amazing. And even Nyla was, she was savage. She was definitely savage. And I like that. I like her. She was in several other companies, I believe, Nyla.
Oh, was she? I'm not familiar with her. This was my first.
No, that's Awesome Kong.
Yeah, Awesome Kong was.
Sorry.
But Nyla Rose, I mean, she's kind of been built up, as because she's bigger than all the other women in the division and all that stuff. And it's really interesting to me that Riho got that win and becomes the first women's champion. She defeated the bigger combatant, and I think that's like Nyla's third straight loss since AEW started, which is crazy because it's kind of awesome, and it speaks to the talent.
She ruined herself. During the match, she pulled out a bunch of chairs, was going to use that against Rio, and then she ended up hurting herself in the back, and that's what led to her imminent loss. So she's sabotaged herself. Yeah,
and I think that might play into future like storylines or whatever. That would be interesting. But Rio was fantastic, and she was like never say die, and like you said. She was trained by Kenny Omega. They referenced like a knee shot that she did. They were like, that's straight from Kenny Omega, of course, because that's one of his things. So, and then he shows up at the end of the match to save her from a beatdown, which was kind of cool.
Nyla was not exactly happy. I feel bad for her announcer. He got powerbombed.
Yeah. What was I can't remember. Michael Naka. I can't remember. He did the baby oil. Yeah. Yep. Nakazawa. That's it.
Nakazawa. Yep.
Yeah. It was that was a solid match. We had Adam Page versus Pac. Is it Pac or Pac?
I think it's Pac.
Yeah.
I love Pac, the bastard. I mean, literally, he is a bastard. I mean, the way he won was kind of bastard-y. Yeah. But man. High flying, crazy, all over the place, Pac, just like back in his WWE days. But I loved it, and he still got that anger and that chip on his shoulder from back in WWE. It looks like he's mad. So, but that's cool. It shows a fire in him, and I really every time I see him though, I think Lord of the Rings for some reason. I think of the dwarfs. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way maybe it's just his scowl. Maybe.
Yeah, I think of Game of Thrones. I think of
Game of Thrones too. Yep, Game of Thrones too. But he's so amazing. He's so talented. Again, another loss that WCW took. It was high flying and everything. If not for how he did the match, how he won the match, he definitely would deserve the W. But I mean, you know how he won, low blow while the ref wasn't looking.
Yeah, you just said WCW, by the way. That's cool. I know. There's a lot of W's. Wrestling, man. Is what it is. But let's see. Adam Page, when I see him wrestle, I think Chris Jericho a little bit. And I think that's probably why they were the two to fight last time. Because there is that comparison. And it's like he's a stout dude. He's stocky, right? And he's got some girth to him. But the dude is doing like standing shooting star presses. It's like, man, this guy is he's something. He's like a hybrid athlete, and that's it's cool.
Man, so I mean,
yeah, well, yeah. And so I'm really getting to know Hangman too. I've been watching. I've been like cycling through Being the Elite. I've watched 101 episodes in the past couple weeks. Yeah, I've just been letting them play while I've been working and stuff, and I've been catching up and kind of getting to know some of these guys and stuff. And Adam Page is one of them that's in that show and stuff. And he's an interesting dude. So glad to see him getting his dues here, getting his just dues. Yeah.
There was a very short match, and I forget the initials correctly, so you'll have to do
MJF.
MJF. Let me pause you on that right now. I'll tell you right now, MJF. For me, after watching him and seeing interviews with him and seeing him, enough of him, MJF makes me want to go back to the gym for a year, get built up again, and then join AEW just so that I can slap the crap out of him. Cody, if you ever end up finding this somewhere, give me 1 year, 1 year at the gym. Give me Kenny Omega if Kenny Omega is willing to train me. Give me 1 year, and I will join AEW specifically. Contract on the line, literally. If I beat MJF, you hire me. If I don't beat him, you don't have to hire me. Just give me the chance. I don't even care if I win. I just want to smack the crap out of him. I swear, I only need 1 year to prepare, and then I'll take MJF, that little pompous, because he's younger than me, and I've smacked the hell out of him.
He's like, what, 23? I think he's only like 23.
I'm 10 years older than him, but I have moves already. I will Falcon him, I will broken wing him, and then I will leave him out to dry if I get the chance. So, Cody, if you're ever watching this, if you are willing to give me that 1 year, I will YouTube it, the 1 year, and get me. And I need somebody. Obviously, I've never been in the ring before. So, Kenny Omega, if you're willing to train me, because I've seen what you did with Riho, and she's amazing. And I've watched you wrestle, and I think you're an amazing wrestler. I would definitely, if I got 1 year, I would go in there just to kick MJF's ass. I'm sorry. He is the one wrestler that makes me want to dust off the gym bag and literally, finally, because I've always had that dream of becoming a wrestler. He is the pushing point for me to want to join wrestling just so that I could shut his pompous ass up.
See, it's interesting you say that because, I mean, and I get it. He sells that character very well.
He lives that character.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does live that character. The thing is, I think he's like a perfect heel. I think
he's
brilliant at it. Yeah.
I give him 100% props. He's brilliant at it, but I want it. I want to join AEW just so that I could fight him. I don't care if I win or lose. I'll fight him. I swear. Give me that opportunity.
Yeah. Given the time and the opportunity for him, I think he could go down as like one of the best talkers in the business. I really do. I think he's that good on a mic. I think he just has people in the palm of his hand. He twists and turns and he just says the right thing at the wrong moment just to get everybody hot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's really good at that. So, I haven't really got to see him wrestle much because his outings
the shortest match.
Yeah.
Night.
Yeah. And like all the stuff leading up to this point, it's been very short, or he's just been at ringside or different things like that. So I haven't really seen him much in the ring yet. So I want to see what he can actually do.
Absolutely. That was the one match that I say was a little too short. And I feel like he was just literally, I forget who is the full name of the person he was fighting. Adam.
Was it,
I forgot.
It Brandon Cutler?
I think
Was
it might
that
have.
the match.
I think it was Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, it was Brandon Cutler. Yeah,
it was. I felt like he just, farted around the ring, smacked him around a couple of times, and then he got an opportunity, took it, put him in a submission move and the guy literally went out.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And yeah, you could bolster, hey, I'm that good. It took me that short of a time, but it's like,
yeah,
I've never seen MJF go against Jericho
yeah,
or Kenny Omega or even Cody Rhodes himself
yeah.
or me. So, I mean,
You're putting yourself in that level now, are you?
if I had a year's worth of training and I got my body back into the shape it was, we're not going to talk about how many years ago. Yeah, I think I would be at that level, honestly.
Okay. So
yeah, just because I'm short doesn't mean I can't go in there.
MJF is short.
He is very short.
Yeah. Speaking of Brandon Cutler, he was he had one of the missteps of the night. He slipped off the ropes. It looked like he tweaked his knee. It might have been he was
his knee. That might have been why they cut the match short.
It could be either that or he was like, okay, I slipped off. I got to kind of cover it up. So he, acted either way. It was a misstep. There was a couple of those throughout the night. So again, not perfect. I chalk it up to nerves. I think, it's their first time. They're going up and they're trying to, show everything they can do. First time on TV and everything. I think a few of them let the nerves get to them a little bit. And I think Brandon Cutler was one of them. And,
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it was very small as it could have been much worse.
Absolutely. Yeah. Could have been much, much worse. But I hope he didn't tweak his knee. I hope we get to see more of him. There was one segment now I just remembered with the SCU.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. And the Lucha Brothers. I thought it was the Lucha Connection came out.
No, it's Lucha Brothers. Yeah.
And this goes back to the fluff statement. It was short, sweet, to the point, done.
Yeah. It was like, which two of us are going to fight you? It's going to be these two.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the altercation, them fighting.
And then done.
Yeah.
Right back to the ring.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So that's the way it should be. Let's see. Is it just the main event left or was there another match?
I believe we've covered everything. We went kind of out of order.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, because Kenny Omega came out during the championship match and then ended up running right back. That's the funny thing. He was in the ring 1 second. Everybody's gone and he's out of the ring. He's disappeared and he literally walks right back out again with the Young Bucks, which I love the Young Bucks. Yeah.
Before we get to that, there was the altercation with Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. There was the tag team, Jack Evans and Angelico.
I saw at the beginning of the show. I saw Jason Mewes recording, and then they ended up getting the camera on Kevin Smith. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. We didn't get to see Jack Evans and Angelico wrestle, but they were there and they got to have that little moment. So that was cool. Those guys are really
sad cool. That the lizard door. Oh God.
The Luchasaurus.
Yes, Luchasaurus and Nature Boy didn't get to fight. I'm sad.
Jungle Boy, but yeah.
Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
Those two, I was hoping to see them wrestle so bad.
Yeah.
But I think next week.
Yeah, the tag tournament. They're in the tag tournament, so that starts next week. So we'll get to see them. The main event. I love the fact that the Bucks and Omega came out to the Being the Elite song.
Mm-hmm.
The Elite. Yeah, that was awesome. And they did their whole thing in the Super Kick Party. They got to show a Super Kick Party in the ring.
Yep.
So, I mean, and they were just amazing. Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks, that dude can fly around like
forget it. Like, you swear he has wings on him.
I know. And it's just like the way he darts in and out of the ring.
Yep.
Like, I mean, there was one time he jumped through the ropes. I thought he was going to take his head off. He's just like boom, 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 boom. It's like, man, I've never seen anybody be able to maneuver the ropes quite like that. It's really something to watch.
Yeah, the way they bounced off each other, both the Young Bucks, spectacular. One jumps over the rope, the other one, like with the leg split, jumps through him. Then the other one does the same thing. The only downside was, and you mentioned this, Moxley comes in and starts continues his feud with Kenny Omega, and that takes Kenny Omega away from the match. But I tell you, man, I wish I was part of the VIP booth.
Oh, man.
Could you imagine being at the first AEW event in the VIP booth and they tell you, excuse me, sir, you're going to have to stand over here a minute because it's about to happen. And you're standing inches away from Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley as they go flying, as literally Jon Moxley throws his own body into a glass table with Kenny Omega.
Chris watched the replay. I watched it live, and it was funny because I was like watching this moment as I was texting Chris, and I was like, holy crap, you're going to love this main event.
And that's when I decided, screw it, I'm not going to wait. And I ended up watching everything from that moment, after that moment, onward to the end, through the repeat, which I watched the whole show again on rerun.
Right.
But then the Young Bucks were left alone, and Santana and Ortiz went to town with the Young Bucks, honestly. Yeah. And then, of course, they got the advantage, Chris Jericho. I like Chris Jericho's new move, the Judas effect.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool new move. I hope he still does I guess we won't call it Walls of Jericho, but like maybe it's the Lion Tamer again, whatever. Yeah. I hope he still does that to some extent. I hope it's not just an elbow to the face all the time. But they end up getting the Young Bucks, and Cody comes in to save them because, of course, they're not just going to win the match and that's it. Cody comes in, and then Sammy Guevara comes in, and then Dustin Rhodes comes in, and then Jake Hager.
Jake Hager.
Yeah, Jake Hager, who was originally all over social media. He's still called Jack Swagger, so pardon me. Jake Hager comes in. He's now officially left MMA, has joined AEW, and is apparently on Chris Jericho's side. It's crazy, and he just goes to town on everyone, throws another person. He throws Dustin through a table. It was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it was a free-for-all, and it was just like everybody. And it was a fantastic way to close the show because it's like they saved one surprise, another face coming out. And the roof popped off the place when Dustin came out too. It's like, it's like it's gold dust. Not gold dust, but
not gold dust, but Dustin. And also when Jake Hager came out, the We the People chant.
Yeah, it's like they know who these people are. Yeah, so it was cool. I'm glad they had a surprise to pull out for that first episode.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing first episode. Did you see the YouTube? Oh no, I'm sorry, the Instagram post after the show.
Which one?
Chris Jericho and all of them were walking from the front back to the backstage area, and Chris Jericho says, "I'm sure you want to know what we're doing and what's up." He pushes Jake Hager pushes the camera down. He's like, "You'll have to wait till next week."
Nice. No, I didn't see that. That's awesome. Okay, so possibly a new faction.
A faction, fine. I just hope they don't go the WCW NWO route. I hope they do something different.
Yeah.
Please do something different. Don't make this like, hey, this is all elite wrestling, but we're a faction that hates all elite wrestling, so we're going to be bad. Do something that be a faction, but don't be a faction that looks to destroy the brand. Because it didn't work rehashing NWO multiple times in multiple different places. Don't do a brand new faction here that's NWO-esque. Make a faction, definitely, but do it as a faction that's meant to go after just one other faction, which obviously would be Dustin and Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, which are the elite.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. Hopefully they'll, so far they've been innovative and unique and been doing their own thing. So, I have faith that they'll do something different and special here. So.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I thought this was an amazing night. I thought this was an amazing pay-per-view. An amazing first episode. Again, there were missteps. Again, there were moments, but otherwise, for a first episode, it was flawless, in my opinion. Other than the few flaws, what was on was amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was like, I don't usually watch wrestling live anymore. It's just time.
I don't either. I don't either. And then when you told me it was on, I was like, crap, I got to watch it. And then you said it's on replay. I'm like, oh my God, good idea, AEW. To do encore presentation. Very good idea. And that's smart because if you think about it, there's another show on at the same time. So, hey, if people do want to watch that show, they could always come back to TNT and watch the encore presentation, which still counts as hits for the show because it's still the same show.
Yeah.
So, win for AEW. And by the way, I said flawless, but wasn't. It was nearly flawless, the show. That's the way I'm going to say it.
It was very nearly flawless. It was, again, we've said it multiple times. It was a fantastic first episode, first outing, and it showed the world what they're capable of and who they are, and it gave them a different product.
Yeah.
And that's what fans have been wanting for a long time. Just something different that is big enough and has the production behind it to pull in that interest. You know what I'm saying? It's
Absolutely.
like there was a point in time where TNA could have been and tried to be and almost was, but just couldn't do it. Yeah.
I feel like AEW did it all in one night.
Yeah.
Literally. It overshadowed TNA, and it brought back old feelings that you haven't felt since the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah. And obviously it wasn't a one night thing, but it did feel like that because it's
the first night on
TV. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry.
No, I was just, I was just, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I was kind of trying to expand on your comment.
Right. No, they've been around. AEW's been around how long? About a year now. More. A year and a half, 2 years almost.
No. I mean, well, okay. So they did an event where they financed it themselves and everything last year, like last September, so a year ago. But they're, as AEW, they've only been a company since May.
Okay. So it's been only a little while. Okay.
Yeah.
I like to promote two things real quick. Number one, AEW merchandise is now officially available at Hot Topic.
Yes.
So if you're interested in getting your I am going to be going to my local mall very soon to see if I can get a little bit of the bubbly and a little bit of AEW. I'm sorry, I like that phrase. I'm sorry. Chris Jericho just has this way about him where he can take anything like this champion and just make it into this big deal that everybody falls in love with.
Yeah.
So you can get your own AEW merchandise t-shirts at Hot Topic now. And also next week, AEW will be in Boston. The week after, it'll be in Philadelphia. And the week after that, it'll be in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can get your tickets on sale at AEWTix.com. So if you'd like to be a part of the event, I believe tickets are still on sale for all three events. So if you live in Boston, you live in Philadelphia, you live in Pittsburgh, literally in that order for the next 3 weeks, and you can pick up your tickets at AEWTix.com.
And act fast because AEW sells out fast.
Oh, yeah. That first episode was sold out, I think, within a half hour. I think they were bragging about.
There was, I forget which pay-per-view it was, but one of their pay-per-views sold out in 4 minutes. Like literally 4 minutes.
The one where John Moxley, I think, showed up.
So, Against All Odds, maybe.
The one with the gambling.
That would be Against All Odds, right?
Was it Against All Odds?
Or was it All Out? It's one of the two. All Out was in Chicago. That's the one he couldn't make. So I think it was Against All Odds.
Okay.
But I'm not positive. They're all blurring together for me.
Yeah, Brant was the only one that got to see that pay-per-view.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's they're amazing. Just what they've been able to pull off here. It's like, it's unprecedented what they've done. And as a lifelong fan of wrestling, I'm floored. I'm excited. I'm pumped up, and I can't wait for next week to watch more of this.
Oh, definitely. I will be there, whether it be the encore or the regular or the live action. I will be there to watch the next episode.
Yeah. So congrats on your first episode of AEW, and for all the fellow fans out there, I hope you enjoyed our take on AEW Dynamite episode 1. And this has been AEW Aftershock. You have something else to say?
And we hope you enjoy Aftershock enough to come back next week when we do more Aftershock, talking about next week's episode of AEW.
There you go.
As we move forward to Full Gear, which is in, I think, 3 weeks.
Yes. So please subscribe. I need to pull that up, don't I? I don't have it on this one. But please subscribe, hit that bell. If you'd like to
change this, will it change everything on our background?
I have no idea. If you like. If you'd like to get updates when we upload new episodes of AEW Aftershock and all the other content on my channel, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody. We need outro music.